So 1-5, last one. The first example says this. It says Darius is restoring a square tabletop. So right away, here's a math word, right? Is square. So go ahead and underline or put a box around that word. He wants to finish the outside edges with a piece of decorative molding. What total length of molding will Darius need? Okay, so we want the total length. And you don't even need to know what molding is, and maybe you do, but to know that. But what molding is like the bottom. So in our classroom, like this brown piece that's going around the edges of the bottom, that's molding. All right, lots of people have it in their homes. Okay, so the square is the first word, and it also says A. What does A stand for in math? A capital A. When we're talking about A in math, Connor, what does it stand for? Nope. Go ahead, Crystal. Area. Okay. A stands for the word area. And is area two-dimensional or three-dimensional? Two-dimensional. That's right. But so this is 2D. We already know we're working in 2D, right? And the area is given to us right here. It's 25. So if we're working with two-dimensional and we're trying to find the side length, am I going to do two numbers times themselves or three numbers times themselves? Two, right? 2D means we're looking for two numbers times themselves. And what's our total going to be? 25. So the first thing we need to do is figure out that square root. So raise your hand if you know what number times itself is going to give us 25. Kamaria, go ahead. 5. That's right. So our length is 5 and our width is 5, right? So that's the first part. Now it says, what total length of molding will Darius need? He's going to put it around this whole entire square tabletop, right? So my question for you is, how many sides is he going to need to cover around the whole tabletop? This is a piece, right? This is a piece. This is a piece, and this is a piece. What length is my first piece? 5. What length is my second piece? Also 5. Do I need to cover it this piece? I do. Okay. So I know before we've only been doing 2 to get the area, the inside, but now this is asking us if each piece is 5 and we're putting it around the whole thing. It's what's the total, not just the dimensions, right? So this piece is 5 and this piece is 5. So if we have 5 pieces of molding or 4 pieces of molding, and they're all 5 feet, right? How much is it total? How much is the total? 20. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. If I add that all up, our total is going to be 20 feet. Okay? So the hard part here is we've learned how to find the keyword to know if we're finding the square root or the cube root, right? Now, sometimes we have to go one more step because we're finding a total. Sometimes no, but sometimes yes. Okay? Now, I just wanted to show you this on this try it because of the letter in here. So sometimes we put a letter in algebra. So in 9th grade, you will take algebra. And I don't want you guys to get confused. We're still doing the same thing. Again, A here stands for area. Oh, let me move that up. All right. So this is telling you A for area. And we just did this up here. Area is two-dimensional. And that is equal to 100, right? So the area is 100. So we know we're doing something times something equals 100 this time. But it says, what is the side length S? So it's giving our unknown, this right here, what we kept blank, it's giving it a letter, all right? And that's okay. So what's our answer here? What times what is 100, Liz Marie? What's the answer? It's 10. And so the idea is sometimes it gives it this letter, okay? And the letter they're giving it is S. They're saying S and S here. Well, our side is 10 and our side is 10. Okay? And here, S squared was our 100, right? And then we're trying to find the square root of 100. Now, the last part here, there's this little sign right here. See it? Does anyone know what that little sign means? Have you seen it before in math? What do you think it means?
Plus, divide.
No, not plus or divide, but you're close. That little sign means positive or negative. Okay? So, the answer here, we've been doing this the whole time. Our answer we came out with was 10, right? Positive 10. But let me ask you this, sidebar, right? What is negative 10 times negative 10? Positive what? 100. So, technically, there are two answers to the square root problem. Because 10 times 10 is 100, right? But negative 10 times negative 10 is also 100. So if you see this sign for square root problems, it's saying there's really two answers because 10 times 10 is 100, and so is negative 10 times negative 10. Okay? Now, that only works for square roots because we've got a negative times a negative. In cube roots, right, if we do 3 of them, a negative times a negative makes a positive, right? But then if you times that by a negative again, it makes it negative. So this only works for square roots. Okay? Not cube roots. We want to be careful there. And I just put that over those words, but I'm sorry. Okay, so the last part of the notes then, nope, I'm sorry, not the last part. The next part is another story problem. So it says, Kyle has a large cube shape. Okay, here we go. Cube shape is a math term. So right away, before we even move on, 2D or 3D?
3D.
3D, yep. So we're in 3D, right? A large cube-shaped terrarium. And so this is a word that we might not know what it is, but if you look at the picture, what is a terrarium? Yeah, it's like a cube, a square, right? And what does this guy look like right here? Like a lizard, right? So it's probably something that you put a lizard in. So we'll read on. For his iguana, he wants to cover the opening with a square screen. So he doesn't want him to get out. He's going to cover it with a screen. What should be the dimensions S? So it's just giving it a letter for this screen. Okay, so he wants to cover it with the screen, and the top of it is the dimensions S. So cube root 3D, how many am I going to multiply? 3. That's right. What number times itself again is going to give us, what's the answer got to be? 343. And remember, this is now, they just gave it a letter, side times side times side. That's where S is coming from. And so we got to guess and check. So take your calculator out, and maybe you start by checking, I don't know, 3. You're like, okay, maybe it's 3 times 3 times 3. Way too low. Kathy, you got it? 7 is the correct answer. So 7 times 7 times 7 gives us 344, or 343, I'm sorry. So what should the dimensions be for the screen? 7, and what did we talk about here? Does it tell us? Oh, feet. So S is 7 feet. The side lengths on that screen are all 7 feet. And we don't have to add them up because it didn't ask us. Notice on the first one how it asked us the total length. So we had to add them all up around. This one's just asking us what's the dimensions, right? So the dimensions are finding the side. All right, last one. And this is where kids get a little weirded out by this because now they're like throwing in the letter X, and it can be any letter here. Don't let that confuse you. We're going to do it the same way. If X squared, right, there's a 2 there, equals 50, that means what number times itself equals 50? There's 2 of them. And so in this case, right, let's guess. What do you think it is?
Closest one is 7 times 7.
Okay, so 7 times 7 is 49, right? What's 8 times 8? 64. So is there an exact answer to this? No, there is not an exact answer to this, right? So the way that we use to figure it out, is it closer to, so 49, right? And then 8 times 8 was 64. And we don't even, I'm just going to do it. This is a quick estimate, right? So is it closer to 7 or 8? It's way closer to 7, isn't it? Okay, so if I estimate it, who can give me a good estimate for this one? Connor, what's a good estimate?
7.1.
Good. So it's about 7.1. Now, and in a second, I'm going to show you something on your calculator, but let's do it for this one now. X to the third is 37. So how many times am I going to multiply something?
3 times.
3 times this time. So something times something times something equals 37. All right. So this is a guess and check, right? And so we just guessed 3 times 3 times 3 is 27, right? All right. Let's try 4 times 4 times 4. 64. So we have the limits, don't we? Right? So very similarly, I'm going to use a different color for this. So I know the cube root of 27 is 3. The cube root of 64 is 4, right? Okay, is 37 closer to 3 or 4 now when we do? Yeah, closer to 3. Let's give it an estimate. It's not super duper close to 3, but it is closer to 3. Who would give it a good estimate here? What do we think? 3 point what do you think? Go, Liz Marie. There you go. Okay. All right, great job. And that's how we estimate it on our without using a calculator. All right, are there any questions about today's lesson? Excellent. So for people that are not here and watching the video, the homework today, I'm going to write it right on screen, is going to be the book. And we're going to do pages 36 and 37. So you guys in class here, you can go ahead and get that out. And we're going to do numbers 1 through 17, okay? People at home, or if you're watching the video, if you need or have any questions, please feel free to email me.